After you have done something like a paired reading, I can easily move this to note taking. I can do something like Cornell notes, or you might know them as 2-column notes. And so on the left-hand side, I may have written writing strategies, summarization, collaborative writing, and then I'm going to go ahead and whatever I paraphrased is what I'm going to write down. If I am reading it, closing my book, and then paraphrasing, that is going to prevent students from plagiarizing, from directly copying from the text, and it's also just going to strengthen their silent reading skills. And so take it from I'm doing it orally to then I'm going to do it written, and that's just going to help them. That's a strategy that they can use throughout the rest of their life. Another thing that you can do with students to show them exactly how to paraphrase, if we have a passage that says, at the start of the Great Depression, many Americans wanted to believe that the hard times would be only temporary. Let's look at a paraphrase of that. At the beginning of the Great Depression, a lot of Americans wanted to think that the hard times would be only temporary. Explain to your students that just changing a few words does not make it their own words. If I look at this sentence, the only words that I changed were beginning, a lot of, and think. It also has the same structure. So this is plagiarism. Show them that that is not the appropriate way to paraphrase. As a We Do model, devices in the iPod range are primarily digital audio players designed around a central click wheel, although the iPod Shuffle has buttons also. Go ahead and look at this one. What do you think? An iPod is an MP3 player that lets you choose and play songs to listen to using a click wheel or, on older versions, buttons. Is it plagiarism or not? If we're looking at words, the only words that are the same are iPod, click wheel, and buttons. Sometimes the vocabulary that is involved, you have to use that same vocabulary, but it has a different structure. I would say that this would be an appropriate paraphrase for students. Think about this one. A letter of thanks is a courteous acknowledgement of a gift or of something that was done for you. A thank you note is a polite acknowledgement of a present or something nice someone did for you. Is that a good paraphrase, or is that plagiarism? This can be argued a couple of different ways. The only words that are the same are acknowledgement or something and did for you. So a lot of the words are changed, but the structure is almost identical. For my upper level students, I would, if a student presented this to me, I might say, you know what, I know you've got some different words in here, but let's look at the structure. However, if this is a 5th grader doing it, you may be jumping for joy. So it just depends on your student's level and the expectations you have for the instruction that you have provided your students. This is a readwritethink.org lesson. So if you go to that link, you will be able to find more explicit instruction in this lesson plan and some other examples that you can do with your students. We've given them some examples. We want to move to students actually writing some one-sentence paraphrases. So the activity called one-sentence paraphrase, you take a selection of text that maybe includes several paragraphs, or you can just do it with one paragraph also. We're going to follow that I do, we do, you do model. You're going to write one sentence and only one sentence that reflects your understanding of the paragraph. If we look back to our Writing Next article, look at the section under word processing, page 17. Let's look at this paragraph. The use of word processing equipment can be particularly helpful for low-achieving writers. In this type of instruction, students might work collaboratively on writing assignments using personal laptop computers, or they might learn to word process a composition under teacher guidance. Typing text on the computer with word processing software produces a neat and legible script. It allows the writer to add, delete, and move text easily. Word processing software, especially in more recent studies, includes spell checkers as well. So after I've read that text, I'm going to model for students how I might paraphrase this. This is my example. Word processing can be helpful for all students, but especially struggling writers, as it allows for legible print, as well as revision tools such as cut, copy, and paste. Show them how that's different from the text, but yet it's keeping all of those same ideas. As a teacher, you need to make sure you have these things written out ahead of time. It's a little bit more difficult to do this than you might think. Go ahead and read that next paragraph under word processing and work on coming up with your own one-sentence paraphrase.